what do you call a fake noodle? We're like, what? No, I don't know. An impasta. So yeah, you can put that one in your pocket, save it for the days that we get a chance to have, I don't know, dinner parties again, something like that.
What did the fish say when it ran into the wall?
What?
Damn.
Holding on to that one, Danielle. All right, so let's start with a heart opener today. So let's grab, if you have a block, so I'm going to give you a block option, and then I'll give you a blanket option if you don't have blocks with you. Block option, you're going to set your blocks like an equal sign, and you'll give yourself some space before the first block. And you're going to roll so that your shoulder blades go past it. And then the second block is for your head. If this is too intense, then I would recommend the other option, using a blanket, which we've done before. And you're going to roll your blanket into a cylinder, and you'll put it across your mat. And again, we're trying to get the shoulder blades above your prop, letting the head rest. Okay. Legs can be any way that you need it or want it. So if you want to cross your legs, if you want to bring your feet into Baddha Konasana, if you want to keep a soft bend of the knees and take your legs long, I'll leave that up to you. Allow the body to just settle down against this prop, whichever one you're using, block or blanket. Feel everything open on the front side of the body toward your ceiling. So you can find a really comfortable setting for your legs. If you need some other props, you can always grab like a blanket and stick it underneath your thighs or your knees. We'll get the wiggles out. Make sure that everything is feeling good, feeling supported here. You'll close your eyes. We'll take a nice deep breath in through the nose. Open the mouth, let that breath go. Do that again, big breath in. Open and release. Seal the lips, inhale. Gentle exhale out the nose. And start to work with this slow rhythm of breath, really looking for a smooth inhale all the way to the top, and a smooth exhale all the way to the bottom, with just those little micro pauses at the top and bottom. You'll feel the body press off of your props, expanding the chest a little more, opening the heart space. And then you'll feel the body soften closer to the floor when you let go of the breath. With each of your exhales, release something else, whether that's tension in the body, or if it was just something left over from your day, something that you were working on, something that you need to get back to. We can set it to the side, knowing that we can come back to it later. Stay here for about 5 more breaths. And we'll stay on the props here, but let's start to extend the legs long if they're not already long. And we'll take the arms overhead. Nice long stretch from your fingers to your toes. You can wake up the wrists and the ankles. And then let's come off our props, rolling over to the left. We'll kind of just move things out of the way for a moment. Lie down onto your side. And then pressing up with the hands. Let's come up to a seat and clear your mat of your props. Just a cross-legged seat of your choice. If you want to add a little lift under the seat, feel free to add a cushion or a blanket. We're going to lace the fingers. We're going to push the palms all the way up to the sky. Drop the shoulders down. Get a lot of length here through the sides of the body. Stay for another breath at the top. Good. And we're going to release your right hand to the floor next to you. Take this left arm up and over. And keep your left sit bone connected to the floor. Roll your chest open. One more breath here. Come all the way back up. Release the fingers, push the palms up. Drop the shoulders down. Take one more breath. And then release your left hand to the floor next to you. Take your right arm up and over. Inhale, come back up to center. We're going to lift your knees, keep crossed at the ankles. You're going to wrap your arms around your legs. You're going to grab a wrist, doesn't matter which hand is in front. Soften up your arms, tuck the head a little bit, nothing's too hard. And you're going to use your legs pushing into the arms. And that's going to open some space in the back body. So the strength is really just coming from the legs pushing out against the arms. You're going to keep the arms as soft and jello-like as possible. Take one more breath here. We'll release the hands. You can drop the knees. Let's take cactus arms here. Open the chest. One more breath here. Relax the arms. Switch the cross of the legs. Again, we're going to stay crossed at the ankles, but we'll lift the knees. Wrap the arms around whichever arm that you weren't grabbing last time. That'll be the one that you're going to grab this time. Soften up the arms. Let the head drop. And start to push your legs against the arms. Two more breaths here. And come back up, release the hands. We'll let the legs drop, coming back into our crisscross. All right, let's take your right arm up. You're gonna bend the elbow, bring the fingers over towards your left ear, drop your right ear towards your right shoulder. Your right hand is here for some added weight, not necessarily pulling on the head. And then if you need some more, here's some options to play with. If you need more of a stretch on the front part of the neck, use your left fingers, find the flesh just underneath your collarbone, push into the chest wall, drag the tissue down. You're gonna feel a little more stretch in the front of the neck, and you might even play with a little tip of the head up or down. So that's front of the neck option. Side of the neck option. Taking your left arm out to the side or wrapping it behind the back. Again, you kind of play with head positioning here, tipping the chin down or lifting it up. Last 2 breaths here. Relax your left arm. Keep the head dropped to the right, but release your right hand. Slowly roll your chin down to center. Pause here. Keep the shoulders relaxed. Take another breath. And then we'll lift the head up to center. Let's sit up on the other side. Left arm goes up. Bend the elbows, fingers over to your right ear. Drop your left ear. And then you figure out from here whether you're needing a little in the front, you want to open to the side, if you want to wrap that right arm behind you. And the right side of the neck might feel completely different from the left side. Feel free to change it to something else. That's what your body's asking for. Two more breaths here. Relax your right hand. Remove the left hand. Slowly roll your chin to center. Give yourself a moment in center, letting the head drop, shoulders stay relaxed behind. And then we'll lift the head up through center. Let's come onto hands and knees. We'll stack your wrists and your shoulders in the same line, hips and knees in the same line. Start with some simple cat-cows, following the breath, moving from the base of the spine, rolling to the top. Take your time between these 2 poses. If your body's asking for a little more, feel free to add some little side-to-side rocks. Or if you need a little more roll of the head. Couple more rounds here. And then come back to neutral. Let's thread the needle from here. Open your right arm up. And then we'll slide your right arm all the way through underneath that left armpit, rest into the floor. Drag your left hip back a little. Let's make this left arm a little softer. You're just gonna rest your forearm on the ground. One last breath here. Your left hand back into the floor. Press and open right arm all the way up. And release. Let's do the other side. Left arm floats. Send it all the way through. Drag your right hip back a little. Let that right forearm rest. Last breath here. Use your right hand to press into the ground. Left arm floats up. And exhale to release. All right, we're going to grab one of your blankets in a roll. We're going to get a little stretching in the calves. So I like having a blanket under my knees because I think I'm getting old and my knees are less happy with me. But we're going to bring this rolled up blanket right behind the knees. You might need to kind of reach through the legs and pull it up as close as you can. We'll keep the toes relaxed back. And then you're just going to lean back onto it. You're going to feel compression into your calf muscles. So we'll start at the top of the calf muscle. And this can be static, or there might be a little side to side. So I'm kind of rocking my hips side to side. That'll put a little bit more pressure on the left side and then a little bit more on the right side. And if you have really, really tight calves, you're going to feel this pretty quickly. So don't feel like you need to put all of your body weight onto the blanket. You can kind of decide how much you really need. If you need to stay a little more forward, feel free to do that. And we're going to stay in this spot for about another 5 breaths. Try to relax into the calf muscles as best you can. Last breath here. All right, we're gonna adjust the blanket a little. You're gonna scoot it down just a couple inches so you get to about mid-calf. Same kind of deal. You're gonna lean some weight onto your blanket. And you'll feel it in a different spot. And you can keep this kind of static, moving downward, or if you need a little side to side, feel free to add that as well. And then work with the breath. One more breath here. And then we're going to readjust the blanket one more time. And we're going to get it closer to the ankles, right at the bottom of where the calf and the ankle meet. And this is our last round. Soften the shoulders. Try not to let any tension creep back up into your jaw, your neck. Last breath. Okay, we'll come forward. You can move that blanket out of the way. Give your feet a little tap. You'll left a little blood back there. All right. Let's get down onto our seat. I'm gonna move some blankets out of the way here. And you might want your blocks handy. I'll face you guys. So I'm going to give you a couple options for a hip opener. Option A is to take a double pigeon, stacking knees and ankles. If you have a knee that's hanging way up in the air and it feels not so good, you can add a little roll or fold blanket. And then we'll be adding a little forward lean or fold into this, okay? So that's option A. That one's pretty intense. To back it off a little, you might cross your right foot over, scoot your hips to the left. So you're still getting external rotation. It's just not this big opening, okay? A little bit softer of an opening here. You still want a little something that you can kind of lean against. And this might be your option, or maybe even just bringing the hands onto the knee and taking a little bit of a forward fold. So test out what your options are, what feels best for your body. And make sure that it's something that you can hang in for a little while. Okay, we're gonna be here for a few minutes. If you're doing the double pigeon option, you're gonna just make sure that this bottom foot doesn't get tucked under. I'm bringing it forward so that my shins are pretty stacked, okay? So you're either crossing or you're double stacking. Blocks can be at any height that you need. If you have other cushions that you want to use, anything else, feel free to grab that, okay? So however you have your legs set up, take those sits bones back and behind. Start to take a forward lean and see how that feels in the body. If not, back off. And we're going to give this a couple minutes. So your first few breaths are really just to kind of get the wiggles out. After that, we're really just starting to settle into a little more depth. You relax the jaw. Try to slow that breath down. You want room to grow in the depths. So if you started out a little too deep and you just feel like you have nowhere else to go from there, back off of it so that you can give gravity and time some room to work. Last breath. We'll start to come back up. Uncross the legs. I'm going to set the feet kind of wide on the mat, lean back onto your hands, open your chest. I'm going to windshield wiper the knees side to side. All right, we're going to set up on the other side. Right leg on the bottom, left leg going on top of whichever leg you didn't do yet. Feel free to add your props where you need more support. Feel the sits bones into the floor. When you're ready, you can start to bring a little bit of a lean or a fold, whatever works best for you here. Keep the neck relaxed and long. Put a little more focus on the length of the breath here. Last breath here. Start to press your way back up. Uncross the legs. Take the feet wide. Lean into the hands, open the chest, windshield wiper the knees side to side. Let's go ahead and roll down onto your backs. And you'll either do a double stack of blankets if you don't have blocks at home, or you'll take one of your blocks and we'll slide them under the hips. So you're gonna roll down first, lift the hips, slide either your block or your double stacked blankets. We are in a supported bridge now. Relax the shoulders and the arms, open the chest. If you need a little more grounding today, you might knock your knees together. If you're still needing some more hip opening, you could play with knees out, or you just keep it pretty simple. Knees and feet, hips width distance. One more breath here. If you're on a block, go ahead and turn it to the lowest setting. If you're on your blankets, you're probably pretty low already. We're gonna tuck your right toes behind your left ankle. Let your right ankle meet the back of your left heel, and then drop your right knee forward. You should feel a stretch on the top of your right hip crease. Now one more side stretch here. If you want, you can take that right arm overhead and maybe even take it a little bit at an arch over to the upper left. So right knee is dropping forward. Your left foot is holding your right foot in place. Right hand might be reaching up and over to the left. Take one more breath here. You took that little side bend or side stretch, bring your right arm back in. Bring your right foot back down. And then we'll set up on the other side. So left foot's gonna tuck behind your right heel. Let your left knee drop forward. If you're wanting a little bit more side stretch, take your left arm up, maybe even arch. One more breath in. Relax your left arm, reset your left foot. Let's lift the hips. Get your props out from underneath. Come down onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest. Take a gentle rock side to side. You can take your knees for some circles. And then we'll keep your right knee drawn in. Extend your left leg long. Stay here a couple breaths. You might keep it static. You might add a little side to side with this right knee. When you're ready for your twist, we're going to take this right knee all the way across. Maybe finding some props. Scoot your hips over to the right. Give yourself plenty of room for the turn. We'll let that right shoulder blade drop behind you. One last breath here. And start to roll everything back to center. Reset your hips. Give your right knee one more squeeze in. Now let's switch sides. We'll hug left knee into the chest. Right leg long. Stay here a few breaths. When you're ready for your twist, we'll drop that knee all the way over to the right. Scoot the hips to the left. We'll let that left shoulder blade reach back behind. One more breath here. Gently return everything back through center. Hug your left knee in one more time. Give a good squeeze. We'll draw both legs in if you want to hug the knees in or take knees wide or take happy baby. And then we'll set up for our Shavasana. I'm going to recommend one rolled up blanket for behind the neck. And then one rolled up blanket for under the thighs or knees. Let your feet go a little bit wider here so you've got some room. Rock the head a little side to side. Make sure that the blanket is in the right spot for your neck. We'll let the feet flop open, palms turn up. Once you've got everything settled onto the ground, close the eyes. Take a deep breath in through your nose. Open mouth, exhale. Again, big breath in. Release. Last one. Fill all the way up. And empty out. And let your breath come back to normal. Your natural breathing pattern, no forced inhales or exhales here. Allow your bones and your muscles to get heavy, resting onto your props and onto the floor. You imagine your body leaving an imprint in the ground, almost as if you were lying on a beach and feeling the sand mold around the curves of the body. I'll take these last few minutes having no other obligation to lie here and breathe. Gently start to deepen the breath. And movement back into your fingers, your toes, your wrists, your ankles. We'll reach the arms overhead, full body stretch, yawn, move your jaw around. Roll over to the left, coming into fetal position. Give yourself a few breaths on your side. Using the hands for support, press your way up to a comfortable seat. Let's keep the eyes closed. Sit tall through the spine. Slide the shoulders down away from the ears. We'll bring palms to touch at heart center. Feel the ground underneath you giving you support. Feel the push back up from the ground, giving you length of the spine all the way to the crown of the head. We'll seal our practice tonight with a single Om. First, take a full breath into your nose. Sigh this breath out. Inhale to chant. Om. Namaste.